Banks around the world are working to keep their books in order as the global economy trends toward disorder and fears of a recession take hold.
But inflation and the war in Ukraine aren't the only major factors driving economic concerns. Our next guest writes in the New York Times, quote, "The world economy is imperiled by a force hiding in plain sight." And he says that force is the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's bring in Peter Goodman. He is a global economics correspondent for the New York Times and author of Davos Man, How the Billionaires Devoured the World. That's quite the title, Peter. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We are more than 2 years into dealing with this pandemic. Shouldn't the global economy have adjusted to it by now?
Well, first of all, the pandemic's not over, and much of humanity is unprotected by the vaccines that are available to those of us who are fortunate enough to live in wealthy countries. So that's a huge variable right there. But even, right here in our own midst in the United States or in places like Europe or East Asia, as long as we're not sure how many people are going to be working in offices, then it's difficult for owners of restaurants that cater to people in offices to know how many people they should hire or how big an order they ought to place. So there are all sorts of uncertainties within the economy. The same dynamic, people have spent a lot of money on putting exercise equipment in their basement gyms while they've been confined. How many of those people are going back to gyms? What does that mean if you run a gym, if you sell exercise gear to people nearby? There are so many variables, and it's been true since the beginning that the biggest threat to the economy is the pandemic itself. And until it's controlled, you have this massive variable. But we've also got all these policies that were set in motion by governments responding to the pandemic. I mean, we had the lockdowns, which shut down a lot of production. We then had huge surges of orders. It turned out while we weren't going out to eat, we weren't going on vacations, stuck at home, we were sticking, office furniture in our bedrooms. We were buying things to entertain, electronics to entertain our children, cooped up at home. And so we overwhelmed the global supply chain. We're still dealing with the aftershocks of that. That's a big source of the inflation that we're dealing with. So as a result of the inflation, we've now got central banks around the world lifting interest rates in concert, which diminishes basic economic activity. It increases borrowing costs, gives us less of an incentive to borrow, to hire, if we run a business, to spend. But that brings its own cost in terms of threatening jobs and threatening economic growth.
So, Peter, forgive me, that last part of your answer was cut off in my meager brain here as I was going through the list of reasons that you came up with of why there's uncertainty left in the economy, all that tied to COVID. And it was a much longer, more comprehensive list than I thought would have been possible. But you've got me convinced. There are so many unknowns, and business is struggling to work with so many unknowns. But now you've got the Federal Reserve, and I think you touched on this, trying to bring inflation down with maneuvers that will tackle inflation but not contribute to recession. For the average person out there with a rooting interest, what should they be watching for?
Well, they should be watching how aggressively central banks, in our own country, especially the Federal Reserve, move to lift interest rates. Interest rates are the primary instrument of central banks. When they see too much activity lifting inflation, when too many people are spending, when wages are increasing fast enough to become a concern about rising prices for everyone, the central bank traditionally steps in and they lift interest rates, which is a cue to the real economy. We're going to lift your borrowing costs. Therefore, you're less likely to borrow. You're less likely to spend. You're less likely to hire. That cools off economic activity and prices come down, but at a cost. When you diminish economic growth, you're reducing working opportunities for real people in the economy. Small businesses don't have the same markets for their goods that they used to. So that's the traditional role of a central bank, is kind of finding the balance between employment. We all want jobs. We all need jobs, and inflation, which tends to pull in the opposite direction. You lift rates when you're worried about inflation. You lower rates when you're worried about not enough jobs and not enough growth. Mm-hmm. But this particular situation we're dealing with is now a situation where we've got declining growth and rising inflation. So central banks are caught in the middle of this,
Right.
and whatever they do, there's going to be some cost. The Fed has clearly signaled it's worried about inflation primarily. It's going to lift rates aggressively. That has caused unhappiness in the stock market. That is generating worries about the job market, though for now, unemployment is at its lowest rate in just about half a century in the U.S. So there's no reason to assume that we're going to head into a recession, but there are worries that we will head into a recession, and they're deepening.
So the Fed has traditional tools, but this is an untraditional time because growth is slowing, but prices are up. Is COVID that missing link there that is kind of creating this catch-22?
Well, COVID's part of it. I mean, that's an important question. But, let's remember, we already had this situation where governments around the world spent all this money to put money in people's pockets when they were worried about joblessness, lost incomes in the worst of the pandemic while lockdowns were still happening. Since then, we've got two things that are not easily dealt with by central banks. We've got supply chain problems. They're better than they were a couple months ago, but we've still got, massive lines of container ships waiting to unload at huge ports like Los Angeles. We've got factories in China making lots of goods destined for the United States with not enough containers to put them in. So we've got all these delays. We've got truck drivers who have decided that the bargain of being a truck driver in a time of 3.6% unemployment is not a good one. They'd rather do something else. So we don't have enough truck drivers. We don't have enough warehouse workers. All of that is slowing the return to normalization of the supply chain. And not least, we've got this disastrous Russian war in Ukraine, which has not only created more chaos in the supply chain, but it's increased the price of energy, which is basically like a tax on everyone worldwide because Russia is such a huge supplier of energy. The Fed does not have a lever to pull to get Vladimir Putin out of Ukraine. Any more than the Fed can wave a magic wand and suddenly make the queues of container ships stuck off of giant ports disappear. So the normal tools of central banking, already tested by a time when you have rising prices and diminishing growth, are especially challenged when you're dealing with a war that's so far impervious to diplomacy, to sanctions, and a supply chain crisis. All of this happening at once.
Such great context, Peter Goodman. Thank you so much.
Thank you.